Boom, that's right. I got y'all. Got y'all's asses pranked. So today, because the video was a little shorter than usual, and because I kind of had a new idea for something fun to try, we're going to make two videos for Monster Hunter Friday this time. Because when you play Monster Hunter, there's a mechanic where there's a chance that, there's going to be a monster that you didn't expect. You didn't know that monster was going to be in that area when you were going on a hunt. So today is going to be the first time that we're going to be doing a surprise monster for Monster Hunter Fridays. And I'm sticking with my trend from the last video, so we're doing our first flying wyvern. And who did we pick? For the first flying wyvern, I picked Khezu. A lot of people don't like Khezu, and I don't really get that. I mean, I guess I first started noticing it, honestly, in Rise. Especially from a very infamous clip where a guy just completely just rage quits at a Khezu. It wasn't even like a end game like master rank Khezu. I think it was just a normal little Khezu. Like, even master rank Khezus aren't a thing to get mad about. Like, anyway, we'll go over that. So Khezu is going to be our first flying wyvern and our first surprise monster. So let's get into it. Who is the Khezu? The Khezu is a very, very strange looking creature. He resembles, honestly, the best I can say is if you put wings on a false Hydra from D&D or from any game, really, because that's not an official D&D monster. It's a homebrew, and one that I've utilized plenty of times, and the one that I plan to utilize in Mystic Portal Emporium's D20 core system. Anyhow, Khezu is very unique. He's very fleshy. This is not there's no scales, there's no fur, there's no nothing like you would see. He's not your typical wyvern. He is very, very, very weird. I mean, he's just interesting, to say the least. Let me try to make some sense out of this so I don't seem like I'm just rambling on like a dumbass. So, Khezu is fleshy, pale creature. No eyes. And very, very unique, aside from not having eyes, he's got no song. Every time you fight a monster, they have a unique song that plays. Some aren't really that unique, like, the lesser, smaller monsters, some of the bird wyverns. But most large monsters, from flying wyvern and onward, in terms of difficulty, have a unique song that'll play whenever you fight them. A lot of the famous ones are the ones like Zenogres, Rajang, and it's just like, Khezu doesn't have one. Why is that? It's because he's blind. I believe that's the reason. Because when you think about it, a monster seeing you activates its aggression. And I believe that that's a little theory of mine, that a monster's theme will only play if it can see you. So, that being said, I believe that's the reason Khezu doesn't have a theme, is because he can't see you. He fights you based off of what looks like smell. When he's trying to find you, he looks like he's sniffing the air. I don't know if he's smelling you, though, because he doesn't have a nose or anything on his face to indicate that there will be nostrils. I think it's hearing, personally. Then again, no ears. It's really weird. I think he might, because Khezu is a thunder elemented flying wyvern. I think what he's doing is he can sense your body's electricity. A little thing he can do, because he's so fleshy and whatnot, and then there's a very thin boundary between his muscular system and the outside. But anyway, he's meant to be a very low level flying wyvern. You fight him early on in your careers a lot of the time. Like, he's not an end game flying wyvern like you'd see with, in the early gens. The Wraths were pretty up there in terms of flying wyvern. I mean, they were more mid to high-ish end, But like Tigrex, well, before Tigrex was classified as a flying wyvern, but we'll say for now, Tigrex, Nargacuga, even. But yeah, the Khezu's low, which is why I find it so weird that people have so much difficulty fighting him. He's not that difficult of a fight. He really isn't. All you have to do is not be always on. He's a teaching moment as well. He teaches you that you can't be overly aggressive. You can't, because for a good while you're just running in and beating the living crap out of things, especially if you're a hammer main. But he teaches you patience. You have to learn a monster. You can't just go in blind. You have to learn them. If you go in blind against some monsters, you've already lost one of your lives. You know what I mean? And Khezu teaches you that. He's like, hey, if you run up on me, I'm just going to cover myself in electricity and shock the piss out of you. It's very interesting that Khezu, of all monsters, is a teacher. But he is a teacher. He teaches you that you need to not just be an overly aggressive player. So I do like that he has stuck around. He skipped Gen 5 a lot. The beginning of Gen 5. A lot of monsters skipped the beginning of Gen 5, and I think a lot of them didn't even get included in Iceborne. I'm pretty sure Khezu is nowhere to be found in World or Iceborne. Yeah, giving it. I haven't seen him. I don't remember. But I know he's in Rise, and he was in everything before then, except 3rd gen, I believe he wasn't, because they had replaced him with Giganox. Giganox is, to me, just a knockoff Khezu. You should have just kept Khezu. But we'll talk about Giganox another time. Khezu, to me, I mean, I love the design. Like, it's just creepy. He's just a mouth. Like a big old worm mouth with teeth coming out of every direction, and he can extend his neck and swirl it around, and he hangs from the ceiling. He's like a horror movie monster. He really is a monster. And he conducts electricity. He's one of the, there's not a lot of thunder elemented monsters in general. Off the top of my head, World didn't even have that many. Because, you'll look at the Rise, I don't remember a lot of, thunder elemented monsters are very few and far between. And most of the time, they're pretty tough. But Khezu's not really that strong. Now Red Khezu is a bit of a tougher fight. He introduces some new moves that did get incorporated into Khezu down the line. There's no subspecies in Rise. He doesn't have the red subspecies. I'm not even sure I saw Red Khezu in Gen 4. But Red Khezu is a thing. Red Khezu does exist. It's a little beefier, but a very interesting fact. He has a different weakness. Most subspecies have something unique about them other than color. Red Khezu was weak to water, whereas regular Khezu was weak to fire. Very interesting little bit there. But Khezu, he's just all around interesting. I love the design. I love fighting him. He's not, it's one of those, whenever I see Khezu, I'm like, oh, great, I'm gonna go kill a Khezu. I'm never like, oh no, how can I fucking fight a Khezu? It's like, not that big a deal. Khezu's pretty squishy. No, fleshy. Squishy. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't see the problem with Khezu that a lot of people have. Khezu, to me, is he's a little block in the road. Just gotta get past him. He's a very interesting teacher. One of the few thunder elemented monsters. And, I'm sure people are gonna be like, oh, there's so many thunder elemented monsters out there. This one and this one. You don't know what you're talking about. There's I just named 2. And it's yeah, good for you. There's 2. Khezu, I know, is 1. Astalos is another. And Kieran is an Elder Dragon. So, Elder Dragons, yeah, even then, it's not a lot. There's him. Namiel can use it. Elatrion can use it, because Elysian can just use every damn thing in the book. But in terms of raw, just thunder, there's not a lot. Zinogre is one of the more famous ones, but there's just not a good few of them, like thunder wise. And Khezu is just like, when you see Khezu, you don't expect him to be a thunder kind of guy, You really don't expect him to have anything. I mean, if I'm being honest, like, just based off the looks. Like, if you looked at a Rathalos, it's red. It's a giant red wyvern flying toward you. You'd think, oh, you probably going to throw a fireball my way, aren't you, big guy? Like, you're not sitting there thinking, oh no, he's going to electrocute me. You're like, what do you mean? Normally a thunder monster will present themselves. Like, Kieran is, he has an electric looking. He's even got a lightning bolt down the side. He's got electric kind of mane looking. Zinogre. Zinogre's big. He's got little thunderbugs all over him. And then Tobi-Kadachi. Tobi-Kadachi, usually they're colored to kind of, they're colored to their elements. But Khezu is just Khezu. There's nothing telling you what he is. You have to. He's a very weird encounter, because up to that point you're used to kind of seeing, there's music, there's, you're going in and you're beating on a monster, and there's fire, and there's maybe water here now and then, or ice, and then you run up on Khezu, and there's no music, and you see him and you're like, what's going on here? And you just walk up to him, and then he just freaks out and starts roaring at you, and then he just starts fighting you, but there's still no music, and you're like, what's going on? Okay, that's weird. We'll start fighting, and then he starts whacking you around a little bit, and you run up on him, and he just covers himself in lightning, and you're like, oh no, I'm already on him. And that's the moment you realize you fucked up, because then you get launched 10 feet back, and you're shocked. It's like, and then he spits lightning at you, of all things, as well. And his jumping attacks and everything is just, I like Khezu. I think he doesn't really have a specific job to do like most do. He's not really the most I can say in that regard is he teaches you to be more. You need to watch what you're doing. You need to not just go head in. You need to test the waters a bit, dance with the monster for a minute, learn what it can do, what it's capable of, and then you can go in and start beating the crap out of it. Great sword mains, hammer mains, looking at you guys. But I think Khezu, we learned from Gen 3. We don't need him per se. Giganox wasn't really even, I don't even remember him being a thunder monster. I'm pretty sure he was a poison monster. He didn't show up in Gen 5 in the beginning. So, he's... Khezu, I think I could take him or leave him. I think I could take or leave Khezu. He's not very impactful. He's very unique. Don't get me wrong. He's a very unique monster. He's just not that impactful. Now, he does have some of the highest elemented weapons that you're going to find. But his armor's not that good, and he's just kind of like I said, he's just a little roadblock. That's it. He may not even stop. Most hunters, he doesn't even stop anymore. Like, at this point, with hunter arts that came into play in Gen 4, and in Gen 5, you've got, now you've got wire bugs and everything that, you're just zipping around the air, anime style, running up walls and everything. Like, most people just run them down, run them over, and continue on their journey. So, Khezu, I could take you or leave you. You're a great monster. I love you. Love your design. But I could take you or leave you. And that's why it's kind of painful because he's not only the first flying wyvern that we're doing, but the first surprise monster we're doing. But honestly, I'm going to put him in C tier. No discernible spot, just C tier. Because, he's not... and that's saying something because I put Yai and Kutku in B tier, So, he's just not impactful. I'm not going to put him in D because he is unique and very special. Really cool monster. But I don't see a need for him to be any higher than C tier. And that, obviously this list changes as we go. But for now, Khezu, you're the first guy in our C tier. And that'll do it for this video. So hopefully either here or on TikTok, I will see you guys in the next video.